Hey everybody, it's Brad here at Puka NC Wild Boys Brewery channel. Hope everybody's having a good Homebrew Wednesday. Seen where some people had was talking about brewing other people's recipes. I believe it was Craig too was talking about he had seen somebody brew one of Jake CPU Nuts brew video or brew recipe, so that's pretty cool. I hadn't actually put any of my own recipes up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that today. I hadn't really been hoarding them. I just hadn't really thought about putting them up. So I'm going to go ahead and put up this one I did for the rum oaked espresso chocolate porter. The recipe is 7 pounds of sweet potatoes, 1 pound of dark malt extract, 3.3 pounds of the cans, the hopped dark liquid malt extract, and then there's 3.3 pounds of unhopped dark liquid malt extract, 1 pound of pure raw honey, and 4.4 ounces of dark chocolate, 85% cocoa. This was only a 30-minute boil since it's already using hop cans. I did the hops are 1 ounce of Nugget and 1 ounce of Styrian Golding. The 1 ounce of Nuggets at 30 minutes, ½ ounce of Styrian Golding at 10 minutes, and then the other half at 2 minutes before Flameout. To prepare the sweet potatoes, what you have to do, I took 7 pounds, peeled them, baked them in the oven for 2 hours at 300 degrees. Then I cooled them off, mashed them up, and put them in a freezer bag, froze them in the deep freezer I've got for overnight. And what it does is, some of you probably already know this, but some of you may not, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you about this. When you freeze something, it ruptures the cell walls in it, fruit, whatever you're freezing, and it will rupture the cell walls in it and release more flavor. So by baking the sweet potato, you caramelize it and get a lot of sugar out of it like that. You caramelize the sugar in the potatoes that's already in there, and that will release more flavor. And then freezing it releases even more. So then I put the potatoes back in the fridge for about 2 days and let them thaw out. Then I threw them in my brew pot with about, I think it was like 2 gallons of water, and mashed them at 152 for an hour. Then I added all the liquid malt extract and dry malt extract and chocolate, and did a 30-minute boil. And then I think I already told you the 1 ounce of Nugget at 30, ½ ounce of Styrian Golding at 10, the other ½ ounce at 2 minutes for Flameout. The original gravity of this was 1066, which projected ABV of 8.5. I left it, that on the brew date was 12/10/11, and left it in the primary for, let's see, so when I racked it into the secondary, it was a month later, 1/14/12, it had already fermented out to 10/16. And I added my oak chips. I had Capt Silver rum, but I put the 1 ounce of French medium toast oak chips in there. And when I racked over to secondary, where it had so much sweet potato in the bottom of it, it put me down to like 4.5 gallons, and I wanted to get at least 5 gallons out of it. So I added another gallon of water to it, and to kind of make up for, so it wouldn't be diluted down too much, I added 4 ounces of rum back to it then. And I wanted to add more flavor to it. I wanted this to be, I like the coffee and chocolate. I'm a real big fan of coffee stouts. So I did a cold coffee infusion with ½ a pound of Lavazza Blue Espresso. It comes already ground up. You just soak it in cold water in a sanitized container for 24 hours, and then strain the grains out of it and put the liquid, however much you want in there, into your secondary. And that's gives you that's a cold coffee infusion. After everything was said and done, the final gravity was 1004, so I think that put it up to around a little over 8%. And it took it was 3/5/12 when I finally bottled it, so it was like right at 3 months for this one to get done. So it's not a fast beer, but it turns out really good, and the longer you let it sit, the better it gets. So I'll go ahead and post the recipe down in the comment section. I want to go ahead and get a pour on this and check it out. Let you guys see it. Nice hiss. Beautiful. And you can see it's got about 1.5 fingers of head on it. It's nice and dark. Get a nose on it. It's very complex where it's got so much stuff in it, and it takes a little while for it to all meld together and be really good. First thing I get off of it is obviously the coffee, because it's got a nice coffee infusion in it. But it's also got, you get the chocolate, and you also get some of the oaking and the rum coming through on it as well. And you get this real sweet, kind of earthy background smell to it, and that's the sweet potatoes. And it took a little while for that to start coming through on it. You can't really taste sweet potato in it when you drink it. If you didn't know what it was, you'd never pick it out. But if it wasn't in there, you'd definitely miss it. It's got that real rich, sweet, kind of earthy taste to it that sweet potatoes give stuff. It smells really sweet. It's not dry at all. It's definitely a sweet porter. It's got a great nose on it. Cheers. It's got almost more of a stout kind of taste to it than it does a porter. I call it a porter because of the color, because you can actually see through it a little bit. You can see some of the light coming through it. Grab a flashlight. I don't know if you can see a little bit through it. Around the edges, this is a dark brown, not black. Real dark brown. Can't really see the light shine through it though. But I'm calling it a porter. If you make it, you can call it whatever you want to. Can't really taste the alcohol in it at all, which I really like. If you just sit down and drink several of these, it'd get your ass in trouble because it is a 7% plus beer, and you can't taste it at all. I was really surprised at the oak didn't come through in it more. I guess the last time I used oak chips, it had the heavy toast, and they impart a lot more oak tannins into the whatever you're putting it into. The medium toast does, which I kind of like because it takes so long for the heavy oak toast to mellow out and balance into your beers. The French medium toast is probably what I'm going to keep using, and I'm going to stay away from those heavy toasts because they're too much. Unless you just like a really oaky beer. But if you're interested, check the recipe out. Let me know what you think about it. Hope everybody's having a good Homebrew Wednesday. I'm going to let my ESB beers sit for about a week so they will settle from all the jostling that they experienced during shipping, and the sediment will settle back down. And then I'll probably do one of mine here in the next couple of days that didn't get shipped out. Start off with that, and then just randomly pick them and go from there. I'm probably going to try to do, I don't know if I'll do one at a time or if I'll do a couple of them and just compare them to each other or what I'm going to do exactly. I'll figure it out. Go from there. Alright, here's the Dunkelweizen. hold it up to the light here so you can see it's about 10:15 right now. I'm gonna let it go for another week in the secondary, and then I'll bottle it. It smells wonderful. It smells like bananas. And this is the one I use the Bavarian wheat with instead of the Weinsteffen. And here it is going into the secondary. I just sampled the gravity. I tasted the gravity sample and it was awesome. I'll take another shot of it when I get it done transferring. You can see it going through the tube right here. Maybe. Yeah. There it is. And there's the fermenter bucket the Dunkelweizen came out of. You can see the trub in the bottom. Got a pretty good ferment. Yeah, this carboy's got kind of a green tint to it, so it makes everything that's in it look darker than it really is, but this is still pretty dark. You can't see through it. I'm holding the light behind it, and you can can't see anything through it. That's the Dunkelweizen going into the secondary. Alright, rigged up my new cap. These are the ones that Emo likes using. Kind of have to agree with him. I think you're going to wind up getting a better seal. I've noticed even using the same number of the bung that fits down inside these carboys, there seems to be a little bit of difference between one to the other. It's basically rigged up like a blow-off tube. It doesn't need it now. It's on the secondary. But that's the way I've got it rigged up because it's the way I want it. Okay, here's the regular Hefe, and it's a lot clearer than the other one. You can see it. Not a lot of light in this room. There's the hose. There you can see it. It's cloudy. It's supposed to be. It's a Hefeweizen, but that's the color of it. You can see it's considerably lighter than the other one. And it's got a completely different kind of smell to it as well because it's got different yeast in it. The Dunkelweizen used the 3638 Bavarian wheat, and this one used the number on it here. Well, I didn't write it down, but it's the Weinsteffen yeast. It's looking good. And the gravity's about the same. It looks like it's about 1014 as well. Here's the inside of the bucket. It's still draining. You can see the Krausen ring. And we're not too far. Looks like we're about right there. You can see the line on the camera. Nice and cloudy. Yum. I got my fermenters cleaned up and I put a little bit of OxyClean free. There you go. That's what I use instead of PBW. And I've got this bucket soaking. I'm going to soak it for about 30-45 minutes, then drain it into this one and let it soak, and then rinse them both out really good. And then after that I will get done rinsing them. I can sanitize them and put them up, and they'll be ready for my next homebrew. Hope everybody has a good Homebrew Wednesday. Looking forward to checking out all the tasting videos. If you brew this beer, the sweet potato beer that I made, the rum oaked espresso chocolate porter. Let me know what you think about it. It does take a while for it to start getting good, though. I'll go ahead and warn you, because I drank some of it when I bottled it, and I was not all that impressed with it when I bottled it. It was good then, but it's a whole lot better 2 months later. I guess it's about 2 months and a couple of weeks now. So the longer you let this one sit, the better it gets. Cheers.